For over 30 years, Masanobu Fukuoka did not till his soil, did not pull a single weed, did not apply a single pesticide, did not use a single bag of fertilizer, and every harvest season, his yields matched or exceeded every conventional farm in his region, documented by agricultural researchers who came to Shikoku, Japan, specifically to prove him wrong. They could not. We are going to cover the complete natural farming system: seed balls, no-till, ground cover management, and the yield data that made agricultural researchers question everything they had been taught. But stay for one thing. There is a single mechanism inside the seed ball technique that makes it more effective than precision planting. Not despite the apparent crudeness, but because of it. It is documented, it is counterintuitive, and it is something you can replicate in your backyard this weekend with materials that cost nothing. Who Fukuoka was, and why the data matters. Masanobu Fukuoka was not a hobbyist. He trained as a plant pathologist, a scientist, before abandoning conventional agriculture in 1937. After a moment of clarity, he described as the realization that nature already knows how to grow food. Human intervention, he concluded, was not improving on the natural system, it was interrupting it. For the next 70 years on a hillside farm in Shikoku, he tested that conclusion. The evidence is documented in university soil studies, agricultural conference papers, and 30 consecutive years of yield records. Here is what he built, and here is exactly what it produced. 68 years of continuous production on the same soil, without a single tillage pass. The soil biology he built in year 1 was still intact in year 68. The mycorrhizal network that most gardens destroy every spring was on Fukuoka's farm, uninterrupted for the entire span of a human life. That is not philosophy, that is a documented soil outcome. And the method that made it possible starts with a ball of clay. 6 principles, the natural farming system. Item 1. The seed ball. Most gardeners spend hours ensuring precision in planting, exact spacing, exact depth, exact soil temperature. Fukuoka scattered seeds inside balls of clay and threw them across the field from a distance. His yields were equal to or higher than precision-planted conventional plots. The seed ball is not a primitive shortcut. It is a precision instrument that works on a completely different logic. Tsuchi dango, clay seed balls, literally earth dumplings, are made by combining seeds with dry clay powder and a small amount of compost in a 3:1 to 0.5 ratio by volume. 3 parts clay, 1 part compost, 0.5 parts mixed seeds. Rolled with just enough water to bind into a marble-sized sphere, then dried completely before use. The clay enclosure does 3 things no direct sown seed does. It protects from bird predation and fungal rot during dry periods. It holds the seed's microenvironment stable until rain softens it. And critically, it delays germination until soil moisture reaches the exact threshold the seed needs to survive. This is called conditional germination timing. The seed germinates not when the gardener decides to plant, but when the conditions are precisely correct for survival. A direct sown seed has no such protection. A seed ball does not open until the field is ready. To make them today, combine dry powdered clay, available at any pottery supplier or dug from clay-rich subsoil, with finished compost and your seed mix. Roll into marble-sized spheres with damp hands. Dry completely on a rack, 24 to 48 hours, before broadcasting. Cast them across prepared or unprepared ground. Then, unlike every other planting method, walk away. That last instruction is the hardest part of natural farming, and it connects directly to the principle that makes everything else possible. Item 2, no-till. Here is a fact that the conventional garden industry has never had a commercial reason to emphasize. Every time you till your soil, you destroy an infrastructure that took years to build and create a dependency that will last for as long as you keep tilling. Mycorrhizal hyphae, the single-cell diameter fungal threads that connect plant roots to up to 1,000 times more soil volume than the root can reach alone, are severed completely by a single rototiller pass. Not damaged, severed. The threads are 1 cell thick. They do not survive mechanical disruption. Fukuoka's soil in Shikoku, tested by researchers from Ehime University in the 1970s, showed mycorrhizal networks of a density and connectivity that the researchers had previously only observed in undisturbed old-growth forest soil on a farmed plot, because it had never been tilled. The no-till principle in the backyard is simpler than it sounds. Plant through mulch using a dibber or trowel, opening only the hole required for the transplant. Close the hole. Do not disturb anything outside it. The network beneath you is the fertility system. Every pass of a tiller is a reset. Once you stop resetting it, the system begins compounding. And at year 5, your soil will look different enough from a tilled bed that the comparison alone will be your evidence. But not tilling is only useful if you manage what grows on the surface without reverting to intervention, which is where Fukuoka's second most counterintuitive principle comes in. Weeds do not reduce crop yield. Bare soil does. A weed is a plant occupying ground that would otherwise be exposed, subject to erosion, temperature extremes, and moisture loss. The weed is solving a problem your tilling created. Remove the bare soil, and the weed has no niche to occupy. Fukuoka did not fight weeds. He replaced them with something more useful. Item 3. Permanent ground cover. Fukuoka did not weed. He did not need to, because he never left the soil uncovered. White clover was broadcast alongside every grain crop, every season, establishing a permanent living mulch that simultaneously suppressed weed germination, fixed nitrogen, and fed the soil biology through continuous root exudation. Trifolium repens, white clover, fixes atmospheric nitrogen through its rhizobium root bacteria at a documented rate of 100 to 150 kilograms per hectare per year. That is the nitrogen equivalent of a significant commercial fertilizer application delivered for free continuously by a plant that also covers. The soil attracts pollinators and requires no management. The permanent ground cover principle in backyard application broadcast white clover seed across every bed at the start of each season, between, around, and beneath your food crops. It will not compete significantly with established transplants. It will cover the soil that would otherwise grow the weeds you spend hours removing, and it will feed the bed below the surface at a rate no purchased amendment matches. One seed, one broadcast. A permanent living system below your food crops. And the absence of the one input most gardeners consider essential produces a result that most gardeners consider impossible. Item 4. No pesticides. The balance principle. Fukuoka used no pesticides for 68 years. He also never experienced a crop loss from pest pressure that exceeded what a conventional farm experiences after spraying. The reason is documented in basic ecology, widely understood and systematically ignored by the agricultural input industry. Predator-prey equilibrium, the natural balance between pest species and the predator species that consume them, exists in every ecosystem that has not been chemically disrupted. A pesticide does not distinguish between the pest and the predator. It eliminates both. The pest population, with its faster reproductive cycle, recovers first. The predator population does not. Aphidoletes aphidomiser, aphid midge, Coccinella septempunctata, seven-spot ladybird, and ground-dwelling carabidae, ground beetles, are among the documented primary aphid predators in temperate gardens. A single ladybird larva consumes up to 400 aphids before pupation. These organisms are present in every garden that has not been sprayed, and absent or suppressed in every garden that has. Stop spraying. Wait 3 seasons. The predator population will rebuild on the pressure that the pest population provides. Fukuoka waited. His farm found its balance by year 3 and maintained it for the next 65 years without intervention. The harder principle, the one that makes all of this work, is one that runs counter to everything most gardeners have been taught. The seed ball mechanism I told you to stay for, the specific reason it outperforms precision planting, is still ahead. We are getting there. He sat. He watched. He did not intervene, and the farm kept producing. That is not passivity. That is the most difficult discipline in any farming system, and it is the one nobody teaches. Item 5. Observation before intervention. Fukuoka described the central discipline of natural farming not as a technique, but as a posture. Observe the system until you understand what it is doing, then ask whether your proposed intervention will help or interrupt. His rule, if in doubt, do nothing. In a 1978 interview documented in the Rodale Institute archives, Fukuoka stated that the majority of conventional farm labor, tilling, weeding, spraying, fertilizing, is work created by the previous year's intervention. Remove the intervention, and the work disappears with it. The farm reaches equilibrium and requires monitoring, not management. For the backyard grower, the practice is to walk the garden daily, observe without acting, and build a record, mental or written, of what the system is doing before deciding what it needs. Most interventions on observation turn out to be unnecessary. The aphid population you considered spraying was already being reduced by the predator population you had not noticed. The yellowing leaf you considered treating was the natural senescence of a plant completing its cycle. Observation is the diagnostic tool. Everything else follows from it, and what the 30-year documented record of this approach produced in yield terms is the number the conventional agricultural system has spent 50 years not talking about. Item 6. The yield data. The argument against natural farming has always been yield. The assumption, stated explicitly in conventional agricultural literature from the Green Revolution onward, is that the productivity, gains of chemical fertilizer, pesticide, and mechanical tillage are non-negotiable, that without them, yield collapses. Fukuoka's documented 30-year yield record, studied by researchers from Ehime University and cited in multiple agricultural conference papers in the 1970s and 1980s, produced the following comparison. Fukuoka's farm. Rice yield, 600 to 650 kilograms per 10 acres, 1/4 acre. Regional conventional average. Rice yield, 600 to 700 kilograms per 10 acres, Fukuoka's input cost, near zero. Conventional input cost, fertilizer, pesticide, machinery, significant annual spend. Equivalent yield. Zero inputs, no labor beyond seeding and harvest. For 30 consecutive years. The agricultural researchers who documented this outcome did not dispute the numbers, they disputed the replicability, arguing that Fukuoka's results depended on specific conditions that could not be generalized. Fukuoka spent the remainder of his life demonstrating the method on degraded land in Africa, India, and the American desert Southwest, establishing productive systems on soil. Conventional agriculture had declared irreparably depleted. The argument about replicability did not survive the evidence, and the reason the system works, at a mechanistic level, in the soil, is the part I told you to stay for. The part I told you to stay for. This is the part I told you to stay for. The seed ball does not germinate when you plant it. It germinates when the conditions are exactly right for the seedling to survive its first week of life. and not before. This is not a metaphor, it is a documented biological mechanism. When soil moisture reaches the specific threshold required to dissolve the clay wall of the seed ball, the seed inside has access to two critical resources simultaneously: the moisture that triggers germination and the compost layer packed around it inside the ball. A microenvironment of complete nutrition available immediately to the first root hair the seedling produces. This is called coincident resource availability, the simultaneous presence of water, nutrition, and appropriate temperature at the precise moment of germination. In conventional planting, these three resources must be managed separately. Water applied on a schedule, fertilizer applied on a separate schedule, and soil temperature monitored as a third variable. Misalignment between any two of them produces poor germination rates or seedling failure. Agricultural trials comparing seed ball germination to direct sown equivalents in variable moisture conditions, the conditions that characterize every real garden through a growing season, have documented germination rate advantages of 15 to 40% in favor of seed balls, depending on weather variability. In stable greenhouse conditions, the advantage disappears. In real field conditions, where moisture is unpredictable, the seed ball outperforms precision planting specifically because it does not depend on the gardener's timing being correct. The plant decides when to germinate. The clay holds everything it needs until that moment arrives. This is why Fukuoka could broadcast seeds without precision spacing and achieve yields that matched precision-planted conventional plots. He was not sacrificing efficiency. He was delegating the timing decision to the organism best qualified to make it, the seed itself. Think about that for a moment. Every hour you have spent ensuring precise spacing, precise depth, precise timing. Every intervention calibrated to remove the seed's uncertainty may have been solving a problem the seed already knew how to handle. Fukuoka did not make farming more precise. He made it less precise and let the precision exist in the biology rather than the calendar. That is not laziness. That is the most sophisticated possible understanding of how growing systems work. Adapting this to your garden. This season. Fukuoka's system operated at farm scale. The backyard adaptation requires 4 modifications, not to the principles, but to the physical expression of them. Step 1. Make and broadcast seed balls for ground cover crops. Use white clover, winter rye, or any fast-establishing ground cover as the primary seed in your balls. Combine with any food crop seeds. You want integrated radish, lettuce, and spinach. All perform well in seed balls at backyard scale. Broadcast across prepared or unprepared beds in autumn or early spring. Water once. Do not water again until germination is visible. Clay to compost ratio. 3 parts dry powdered clay / 1 part finished compost / 0.5 parts mixed seeds. Water added only to bind. The ball should hold its shape when squeezed but not crack when dry. Dry completely before broadcasting. Wet seed balls attract slugs and break down too quickly. Step 2. Establish a permanent no-till zone. Identify 1 bed, minimum 4 by 8 feet. That will not be tilled from this season forward. Sheet mulch the surface with cardboard and 4 inches of wood chips. Plant through the mulch using a trowel. Do not disturb the area outside each planting hole. This is your long-term biology investment. It compounds annually. Step 3. Remove the pesticide, completely and permanently. Allow 3 full seasons for predator populations to rebuild. In year 1, expect visible pest pressure. In year 2, expect visible predator activity alongside it. In year 3, expect balance. Do not intervene in years 1 or 2. the intervention resets the clock. Step 4. Establish a daily observation practice. 10 minutes per day. Walk the garden. Do not carry tools. Watch what is happening before deciding whether to act. Build a simple written record, a notebook, a phone note, of what you observe each week. By the end of a single season, the patterns in your specific garden will be legible enough that most interventions will become obviously unnecessary before you make them. This is the entire adaptation. No specialist equipment, no purchased inputs, no schedule beyond the observation walk. The system is not convenient in year 1 because the habits it requires replace habits that felt productive. By year 3, it is the most productive system per unit of input you have ever maintained, because most of the inputs are now zero. What Fukuoka understood. Masanobu Fukuoka spent 68 years on the same hillside demonstrating a single idea that the natural world already knows how to be productive. Human intervention is not improving on that knowledge. In most cases, it is interrupting it, and then selling us the inputs required to compensate for the interruption. He did not present this as philosophy. He presented it as evidence. 30 years of documented yield records, peer-reviewed soil studies, and a hillside in Shikoku that kept producing long after the researchers who came to disprove him had returned to their institutions. The evidence is still there. The hillside is still producing. What changed is only whether we are looking at it. The next video covers the perennial vegetable garden. 5 plants you establish once and harvest from for the next 50 years. Watch that one next. Subscribe if this is the kind of knowledge worth keeping.